Every police department has cases they'd rather forget. Files buried deep, evidence boxed away, names never spoken aloud. But some cases refuse to stay silent. For 40 years, this one has resurfaced, again and again, leaving behind broken detectives, unanswered questions, and a warning whispered through precinct halls. If you get assigned this case, ask to be transferred. This is the case that terrifies every detective, and after 4 decades, it remains unsolved. In 1985, the town of Ravens Creek was the kind of place where doors stayed unlocked and everyone knew each other's routines. Population, just under 12,000. 1 police station, 2 patrol cars per shift. Crime was rare. Violence was almost unheard of. Which is why, on the morning of October 14th, the town woke up to something it had never experienced before. A call came in at 6:17 a.m. A jogger had found something in the woods near Miller's Trail, something that didn't belong there. At first, it felt like an isolated tragedy, a single loss in a quiet town. But Ravens Creek was about to learn something terrifying. This wasn't the end. It was the beginning. The victim was a teenage girl. Name, Laura Whitmore. Age, 16. Status, honor student, no enemies, no history of running away. She'd been reported missing the night before. Her body showed no signs of sexual assault, no robbery, no defensive wounds. Just one strange detail. Her wristwatch had been removed and placed carefully beside her, stopped at 2:11 a.m. Detectives couldn't determine the cause of death immediately. No trauma, no poison detected, no struggle. It was as if her body had simply shut down. Investigators searched for meaning in the details, the watch, the timing, the silence. What they didn't know yet was that the pattern had already started forming. Within 6 months, it happened again. Then again. By the end of 1986, 5 people were dead. Different ages, different genders, different neighborhoods, but all shared the same chilling details. Bodies found near wooded areas, personal item neatly placed beside them. Time of death always between 2 and 2:20 a.m. No clear cause of death. The press called it the quiet deaths. Detectives called it something else. Impossible. 5 deaths were no longer coincidence. The town demanded answers. The police demanded suspects. But what they would find next didn't behave like a human at all. In 1987, a break finally came. A witness reported seeing a man near Miller's Trail at 2 a.m., the same night as the 3rd death. Description: tall, dark coat, no visible face. Sketch artists created a composite. The problem? 3 different witnesses described the same man, across incidents years apart. He never aged. Detectives jokingly referred to him as the static man. The joke didn't last long. Witnesses agreed on one thing: whoever they saw never seemed to change, and that terrified the people sworn to stop him. Lead investigator Detective Harold Mason devoted 6 years to the case. He slept at the station. His marriage collapsed. His health deteriorated. Then, in 1991, Mason submitted a report that was never meant for public release. It stated, "The suspect may not be committing murder in the traditional sense. These deaths resemble intervention, as if someone is deciding when life ends." 3 weeks later, Mason resigned. 2 months after that, he was found dead. Time of death? 2:13 a.m. When the lead detective collapsed under the weight of the case, many believed the mystery would die with him. Instead, it waited. In 2002, a cold case unit reopened the investigation. While digitizing old evidence, they discovered something overlooked for decades: an audio cassette logged as blank. It wasn't blank. It contained a voice, calm, controlled, recorded during an anonymous phone call in 1986. The voice said only one sentence: "I don't kill them, I release them." The call ended at 2:11 a.m. The tape should never have existed, and once it was heard, the case could never be viewed the same way again. 40 years later, no suspect, no motive, no cause of death listed officially. Every detective assigned to the case eventually asked off it. Some cited stress, some fear. One wrote in his transfer request, "This case doesn't want to be solved." The murders stopped in 1989. No explanation was ever found. No confession was ever made. Years passed. Files gathered dust. The murders stopped, but the questions didn't. And then, something returned. In 2025, the Ravens Creek Police Department released a public statement. The case remains open. New information is welcome. That same night, an envelope appeared outside the station. Inside was a wristwatch, stopped at 2:11 a.m. The watch was more than a symbol. It was a message, one that suggested the truth had never truly disappeared. The wristwatch sat in an evidence locker for 2 days before anyone dared touch it. Veteran officers recognized it instantly. Same brand, same model, same frozen time. For younger detectives, it was just an object. For older ones, it was a ghost. Forensics finally opened the casing. That's when they noticed something no one had ever seen before. A secondary compartment, crudely sealed, hidden beneath the battery. Inside it was not a note, it was film. Decayed, fragile, almost destroyed by time. The lab spent weeks restoring a single frame. When the image appeared on the screen, the room fell silent. It wasn't a victim, it was a hospital room, and standing beside the bed was Detective Harold Mason, alive. If the image was real, then someone had lied, and the lie was bigger than the murders themselves. Harold Mason's death in 1991 had been accepted without question. Heart failure, no autopsy requested, case closed. But hospital records told another story. Mason had been admitted under his real name, then discharged under another. Someone inside the system had helped him disappear. When detectives followed the trail, it led to a state-funded long-term care facility, buried in paperwork and forgotten patients. Room 214. That's where they found him. Older, frail, but unmistakably the man who once chased the truth too closely. When he saw the badge, Mason didn't panic. He sighed. "So it finally came back," he said. "I wondered how long it would take." The man who once chased the truth had spent decades hiding from it. But now, he was finally ready to speak. Mason spoke slowly. He explained that by 1988, he had noticed something terrifying, something no one else wanted to see. Every victim had visited the same medical outreach clinic within a year of their death. All had early-stage diagnoses. All had been told they would probably recover. And all had been seen by the same caregiver, Evelyn Cross, a hospice nurse with a spotless record. Too spotless. Mason followed her quietly. Then the death stopped, and Cross vanished. He reported his findings. The response was swift and clear. Drop it. When Mason refused, he became the next problem. His death wasn't an accident. It was protection. For the town, for the department, for the illusion of peace. What Mason revealed didn't point to rage or revenge. It pointed to belief. And belief can be far more dangerous. Evelyn Cross believed she was saving people. Terminal illness frightened her more than death itself. She chose victims she believed would suffer. She ended lives gently, chemically, leaving no trace. The watches? Her signature. Time, she believed, was cruel. She stopped it for them. When Mason confronted her in 1989, she fled. No money, no trail, no identity, and no further deaths. Until the watch returned. When the deaths stopped, many thought evil had left the town. In reality, it had simply gone quiet. Mason explained the final truth. He had arranged the watches to be released only if he died naturally.
The last watch wasn't a threat, it was a signal, a way of saying, the truth is safe now. Mason had waited decades not for justice, but for a generation ready to handle it. The watch was never a threat, it was a countdown, and time had finally run out. The department released a sealed report. No names, no accusations, no panic. But families were privately informed. Some cried, some felt relief, some finally slept. Evelyn Cross was never found, but the killings ended with her disappearance. The case was officially closed, not solved by force, but by truth. The file was closed, but the lesson remained. Because not all crimes end with arrests, some end with understanding. The case didn't terrify detectives because of violence. It terrified them because the killer thought she was right, the system helped her disappear, and silence lasted longer than justice.
But silence didn't win forever.